All right, we're live.
All right, GM everyone, G Espresso, G Brew. Good to see so many familiar faces back, and we've also got some new faces that we'll be introducing as we go here. I hope everyone is having a good start to summer. I hope everyone is having a good conference season. It definitely feels like crypto conference season. Ellie and Mariana were just in Berlin, and Shawnee, who we'll introduce, was just in Berlin as well. Got Ben and me and Wit in New York holding it down at the Permissionless conference here. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but we've got a big crew going to EthCC in France in a couple of weeks as well. Great. So excited to kick off. Maybe we can pull up the slide deck here.
It's coming. It's uploading. It's coming.
Cool.
Here it comes. There it is.
Great. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Yeah, this is community call number 4, keeping the party rolling. And yeah, today we've got a lot of good content. We're gonna do a very quick recap of, again, what is Espresso, what is its mission. If you're new here, this will be a good overview for you. If you've been around, a good reminder. We'll talk a little bit about roadmap and integration updates. Again, we've got a new face on the stage. I'm really excited to present Shawnee, who's going to be doing a lot of work with the community. We've got Ellie and Ben from the research side of the Espresso House to talk about cross-chain decentralized exchanges, central limit order book specifically on Espresso. And we're bringing back the GTX team, which was one of the hackathon teams from the Build and Brew hackathon, who built a cross-chain central limit order book. We'll talk a little bit about the L3 campaign that so many of you participated in. We're going to do a caffeinated creator spotlight. I'm really excited to introduce you to one of my favorite caffeinated creators who we've had the pleasure of working with. And then we'll talk a little bit about a follow-up to the Composables NFT drop that so many of you participated in last month. We're cooking up some cool stuff on the product side and a follow-up NFT mint that will combine in cool ways with your existing Composables NFTs. So with that, we can jump in. All right, Espresso's mission, explaining Espresso. Let's do the review. Let's do the recap. Espresso fundamentally is on a mission to build a permissionless platform for billions of users and trillions of assets. We're seeing billions of users and trillions of assets move on chain, whether it's in assets like Bitcoin or stablecoin. We're seeing billions of wallets getting created on platforms like Solana and Base. And Espresso adds a very important component to this ecosystem. But first, we should talk about what is a permissionless platform. Well, fundamentally, this means that everyone can use it, anyone can build on it, and anyone can operate it. This is a huge paradigm shift from Web 2 and TradFi, right? And fundamentally, what we're talking about here is a blockchain. So we use this word, permissionless platform to evoke, to get at why you would use a blockchain. I think sometimes it can be easy to lose track of like, wait, why do we care about crypto? Why do we care about blockchains? Okay, it's like this sexy new technology, but the qualities that it gives us are these qualities of permissionlessness that I just reviewed. Anyone can use it, anyone can build on it, everyone has access to it. And if we talk about, wait, if you want to go to the next slide.
Oh,
we lost it.
Yeah, sorry.
If we talk about permissionlessness, I always like to remind myself, others, my grandma, when I try to explain what it is that I do, I think it's really important to remember that this is not a new concept. If you go back even just 50 years ago, all of our ideas, all of our speech was permissionless, right? You could just go into the town square and talk to the crowd. That was like the best way to get your ideas out there. Value was permissionless. The economy mostly ran on cash or even physical stock certificates, things like this. And so it was very hard to censor or put permissions around who could do what in the system. And even innovation happened on hardware. And so that was very much permissionless. It was you going into your garage and building something, or even in the early days of computing, you'd be building something on a floppy disk and distributing it manually. But as we moved into the digital world, everything became permissioned. We had gatekeepers, right? We had these silos emerge. So if you're putting ideas out into the world now, you're probably doing it on X or Facebook or WeChat or something like this. So you're in a silo, which is very permissioned and censored. And value on platforms like PayPal or Zelle or your digital banking system also became highly permissioned, as well as the way to distribute innovations through things like the App Store. But we're seeing a move back here. So if you have ever used Signal or WhatsApp or encrypted messaging, this is an example of distributing your ideas in a way that's digital and also permissionless. Bitcoin is an example of value that's digital and permissionless. And now we have platforms like blockchains like Espresso that make innovation digital and permissionless as well. So that's what we're on the mission to do. I think that there's very actual practical reasons. Like, it's very easy to get caught up in the ideology of all of this, but there's a lot of practical reasons to use a permissionless platform, aka a blockchain. You get global distribution right away. So many of you here are tuning in from places around the world, places, as far from New York, where I am right now, as Benin and Hong Kong and Amsterdam. And that's really exciting. That's not a dynamic that you get if you're trying to build, certainly with financial technology, in any other realm. You get a composable developer experience. Espresso is all about composability. So the ability to build your application off of what came before, off of what already exists, the ability to have smart contracts in this case, or chains, make calls to other chains and smart contracts. This is one of the most exciting things about building on blockchains. And then the ability to have unstoppable software. So no one can shut it down. It's truly permissionless in that way. And this is all playing out at a time where I feel like it couldn't be more relevant. So, we're seeing AI already do agentic commerce on chain. That's a big reason, I think, right now to build on a permissionless platform. We're seeing the rise of things like prediction markets and decentralized finance. Bitcoin and stable coins are being adopted by big institutions worldwide. And all of this is made possible by the permissionless platforms that we have. But yeah, as I mentioned, it takes a lot to be able to support billions of users and trillions of assets. You have to have a platform that can scale to their needs. You have to have the ability to really customize things. And so, I don't believe that big banks and small individuals are going to have the same needs and necessarily be trying to build on exactly the same platforms. I think that we're going to have a lot of different chains so that they can be customized and tuned specifically to the need or the use case. And then, of course, you also need really, really strong security. And so these are all the things that we're optimizing for and building for as we think about how we build out Espresso as a platform. So that's what we're doing. That's where we're at. That's what we are, is trying to build the permissionless platform for these billions of users and trillions of assets to come on chain in a way that's scalable, customizable, and secure. And specifically what that means, next slide, is that we're building a base layer purpose-built for rollups. So a base layer that offers fast confirmations, that offers efficient data availability, and can even offer settlement for rollups, chains, L2s, whatever you want to call them, to be able to run, be secure, be scalable, and work together. So that's your little reminder of what we're all doing here, why we're excited to be chatting with you today. So we've got about 80 contributors around the world, including node operators, probably more than this actually at this point, if you include all of the developer contributors participating in hackathons and things like this. We've raised we at Espresso Systems, which is one of the key contributors to the project, we've raised about 60 million from funds like A16Z, Electric Capital, and others. And we've got about 20 chains committed to integrating Espresso and about 6 bridges committed to integrating Espresso. We've got 4 or 5 chains live on Espresso today, which is really exciting. And obviously, again, a bunch more in the pipeline. So, all right, this is a good recap of where we've been. We launched our first mainnet in November of 2024. And then shortly thereafter, a couple months later, got our first integrations going live. Rary Chain something many of you are familiar with now, was our first chain to go live with us. And we've started working on bridge integrations going live with us since last spring, since April. And we also managed to upgrade to permissionless proof of stake on our testnet in April, which sets us up really nicely to be able to upgrade this quarter to permissionless proof of stake on mainnet, which is something that we're really, really excited about. We're on track to be ready to upgrade from an engineering perspective in July, and then it'll be up to the Espresso Foundation on when exactly to pull the trigger on that, whether that'll be July, August, September, again, sometime this quarter. There's a lot of considerations and a lot of operations going on behind the scenes there to make sure that it's as successful as a launch as we possibly can have. And then beyond that, we're just trying to increase decentralization of the system to thousands of nodes. And then we're targeting pretty quickly 2-second latency and then sub-second latency, something I know that we're all really passionate about, to be the fastest system out there, to be able to support all of the use cases that I mentioned. Cool. So it's my pleasure to introduce Shawnee, who is our new community marketing lead and is going to be working on all kinds of fun content, initiatives like Caffeinated Creators, getting creative with how the Composables NFT community evolves. She's got a lot of ideas up her sleeve. She comes to us from Cartesi, which is a close partner project. We've had the pleasure of working with Shawnee for years. You want to go to the next slide, Whit? Yeah, some of the examples of just how creative Shawnee has been with Espresso. She has famously created Espresso branded nails. You can see on the right, she's supported us with events and with merch and swag. And yeah, a little known fact about her is that she actually created a version of the Sabrina Carpenter song Espresso, specifically about espresso systems. I don't know if we have a way to pull that up and play it, but maybe we can do that now or later at the end of the call. Cool. All right, we've got it in the chat. You can all go give her a like, drop her a shout out.
I'll try to figure out if I can get it up.
Yeah, no, it's okay. We can do it at the end of the call too. Cool. Shawnee, do you want to say a quick hi before we move on?
Yeah. Ooh.
I think we have reached the limit on the stage. I think Shawnee's off stage, maybe.
No, I think she
can kick me off stage. There she is.
Hello.
She popped up.
Hi, Shawnee. Welcome.
Uh-oh.
Okay, that was a very quick hello.
Hello. Yeah, no. I have no idea what happened. As soon as you announced me, my cam is not working. I'm not a catfish, I swear. I swear, I'm real. I'm real. You'll
Like
see
it,
me at EthCC in Cannes. I
It's
swear.
real. You'll see her
I'm
there.
a girl. I'm a girl.
You knew we were going to ask you to sing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I can screenshot you the message. I have proof. It's not on chain, but I can do it. Yeah, should I still say a little bit about myself?
Yeah, please say a little bit about yourself.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Shani, the new Espresso community marketing lead. Very, very excited to jump into this role. I am an actual person. I'm not a bot, even though my X handle will say that I am real. I'm on my second week though, so please go easy on me. Clearly, I need it. But I've certainly hit the ground running here. Already met the team, and they're super lovely. I met Mariana and Ellie in Berlin, and I've been getting myself up to speed with everything that's going on in the ecosystem, and we have a lot of exciting things coming up too, and you can definitely expect to see more content on the ground from the team. Not everyone might be excited about that, but I certainly am. A little bit about me. I mean, Jill mentioned it. I previously worked at Cartesi, and on this slide, actually on the left picture, I found it. It's from EthCC Brussels, during one of the Espresso events where I mentioned that I was an honorary Espresso member. Well, look where we are now, which is kind of a crazy lore. Oh, that's gone now. It's going back. We are so not back. No. No. Wait, can I at least talk a bit about this?
I was going to try to play it.
Please. Oh, no.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, well, it actually all started with a silly comment. Cartesi and Espresso were doing an event, so I jumped on a call with Jill and Avery, and I made a joke about someone should do the Espresso song by Sabrina Carpenter, because of course, Espresso, that makes sense. And then Jill said no one could do it on their team without making it too cringe. And I thought, well, I can kind of do something. I can hit a few notes. I can do a little editing. And
So
so I
she
wrote
wrote
this.
and recorded this and edited it. All right.
All right,
Let's
let's
And I
hear
was
it.
terrified. I was terrified to send it to you, Jill. I think I
Take it
told
away,
you that.
Whit. Let's hear it
Let's see if
real
this works.
quick.
No.
We got a lot to get to, so let's play it up real quick and then kick it over to Ben.
All right. Let's...
We need better interoperability. Do you agree? I guess so. Want credible neutrality. Cause let me espresso. Here for your theory immunity. Couple roll-ups get their O. Partnering up with courtesy. Cause let me espresso. You can maintain a strong performance. That's why we're here.
Awesome.
Helping scale for
Gives you a
Cool.
sneak preview of all of the creativity to come with Shawnee on board. Really excited about it. And you should all go listen to the full song, but you got the sneak preview on stage here today.
Yeah.
All right, now on to the serious stuff. I think we're going to kick it over to Ben and Ellie, and again, the GTX team to talk a little bit about this. So if you want to take it away.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So, one of the aspects of a base layer that everyone talks about is the fact that it should be able to, cheaply support a lot of data and high throughput. But there's another aspect which we at Espresso care a lot about, which is very low latency, like the ability to confirm transactions really quickly. And a lot of people may wonder, well, why is it so important? Why is latency so important? Why are fast confirmations important? And so we wrote an article on one of the things that fast confirmations unlock, which is part of the important world of cross-chain applications, and this is cross-chain order books. So one of the most basic things that you know what? It would be helpful. I don't know if it's possible, Jill or Whit, to share the link to the article here.
Yep. I'm doing
so that
it right now.
we can find the whole article after the call. But one of the basic things that people do in Web3 is hold digital assets on different chains, and they need to move them between chains in order to use them in different applications. And so for that, you need the ability to bridge assets of the same type or swap assets of different types across different chains. And today, there's a pretty inefficient patchwork of different protocols that allow you to do this that are inefficient because they require liquidity providers to split their capital in between many different places. So if you have ETH on Base and you need to get DAI on Arbitrum, then you may need to use some kind of bridge protocol to get, and you want to do this really quickly, right? So you may need to use some kind of bridge protocol to first get ETH on Arbitrum, and then use some exchange that exists on Arbitrum in order to swap from ETH into DAI. Or you might deposit your ETH from Base into a protocol like into an exchange like Binance, or to a different exchange like Hyperliquid, swap for DAI, and then you would need to withdraw from that exchange onto Arbitrum. So you have to hop through multiple systems, and each of these systems is sort of an isolated liquidity pool. So one of the things that you can do if you have very fast communication between different chains is just have one unified order book that handles all of this in one place, right? And so you'll have orders from market makers who are willing to swap ETH on Base for ETH on Arbitrum. You'll also have other market makers who are interested in taking different sides of the trade, so that you'll have different orders for swapping ETH for DAI, maybe directly ETH on Base for DAI on Arbitrum, but maybe you'll be able to match many different orders in the order book that finds you a route from ETH on Base to ETH on Arbitrum. And the idea is that this order book, it doesn't really need to live on any chain. It's just a collection of orders that really live cross-chain. And whenever a user wants to be able to, say, take an offer, let's say the offer is on Arbitrum to sell DAI, for ETH on Base, they can issue their transaction on Base that would create a cross-chain message that would then allow them to take the offer on Arbitrum. So you should check out the whole article. This really paints kind of a new vision for how trading and bridging can work in a world where chains have very low latency, not just high throughput, but very low latency, which is what Espresso enables as a base layer. That powers the ability of applications on different chains to communicate very quickly and to do things like this. So maybe next, let's bring in GTX. I want to highlight this team that came out of our hackathon and was building a central limit order book on top of Espresso. So maybe you guys can tell us a little bit about what you've built. I actually would love to hear more about it from you guys as well, since we haven't had a chance to talk in great detail yet about it, and I'm excited to see how we can iterate on the project that you started and to make it more cross-chain.
Yeah, I mean, they're all up on stage. So Amar and Bobby and Takul, you should be able to unmute your mics and speak. And I can add your screen share too, if you'd like right now.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Is it clear, my voice?
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah.
All right. There's your screen share.
Okay. Yeah. This is our projects. Yeah. Okay. Starts with introduction first. Yeah. Hi everyone. GM. I'm Amar Bani. I'm from GTX, which stands for Great Trading Experience. So we are on a mission to rebuild on-chain trading from the ground up by combining the best of checks and DEX in a fully decentralized way. So today I'll walk you through the core problems in DeFi trading and how GTX solves them with a permissionless cross-chain CLOB infrastructure. Okay. So today crypto trading isn't great. DeFi is slow, inexpensive, and relies on centralized parts like sequencers. And liquidity is fragmented, and AMMs expose LPs to impermanent loss while limiting supports for niche tokens. And centralized exchanges like Binance are fast, but they lack transparency and require permissions to list tokens. And users are stuck between inefficient DeFi and closed checks. Yeah, thank you. So we believe the future of trading should be as seamless as and efficient as checks, so without sacrificing decentralization. And that's why GTX is built around three pillars: order book, permissionless market creation, and cross-chain liquidity. And so why order books? And order books aren't just more trader-friendly. They're structurally superior. MMMs may be simpler, but they're also inefficient. Our CLOB architecture eliminates slippage, unlocks deeper liquidity, and better price discovery, and higher capital efficiency. And the permissionless market creation is critical. It allows market to form organically, like they do on centralized platforms. But without needing a DAO vote. This boosts capital efficiency and supports long tail assets that otherwise can't find liquidity. So there's the example of the protocols that implemented the permissionless design. Look, they mostly have a billions dollars TVL. So we want to achieve that. And why cross-chain? DeFi is multi-chain, but liquidity is still trapped. GTX want to connect the rollups and other chains into one unified CLOB, solving fragmentation while preserving native asset security. And our infrastructures enable truly seamless cross-chain trading. So to support high-frequency, low-cost, and fair trading, we need a custom infrastructure, and we need a general-purpose chains that just don't cut it. That's why we're building a GTX on GTX Espresso for the hackathon. A dedicated app-specific rollup with a shared sequencing and native cross-chain messaging backend. And yes, for the hackathon, before on previous hackathon, we scoped the cross-chain down to swap first. So using GTX CLOB liquidity as the pricing and routing engine. So a user submits an intent, for example, WETH to EthCC on Arbitrum, which is picked by the Open Intent Framework and routed to GTX Espresso and our app-specific rollup. Their orders are matched and settled, and the result is sent back to the users. And this is the high level of GTX cross-chain CLOB. It connects other chains and will have a solvers that, and these intents are routed to GTX Espresso or dedicated rollup, where trades are matched against live order book liquidity and settled using native USDC. That's the example of the pools. And this is the short demo for GTX cross-chain works. So this swap using a liquidity from order book on GTX under the hood, and it's deployed on GTX Espresso rollup used as a dedicated trading chain. Okay. And thank you guys. And
what was that you just did demo? I was.
This is the cross-chain swap.
Right. So what were you swapping for? What for what? WETH for USDC.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's from Arbitrum and our rollup chains. So,
Nice.
we just tested it on the dedicated rollup first because for the hackathon it's there's a time limit and so
right.
we need to learn about it first.
I see some comments in the chat. We're asking about the wait list on your website. What are you guys looking at as far as like timeline and what should people who join the wait list, what should they be looking forward to or expecting?
Actually this is still on the private we don't show it publicly first because there are some measures improvements. We still have private audits, internal audits from our side, and we need to solve the CLOB first, yeah, before jump into the cross chain, because right now we still need to solve the real times issues, like to show the data real time, like the candlestick charts and stuff. So we will try to focusing on the CLOB first before we jump into the cross chain later.
Understood.
Yeah, but
But
the idea is
Great.
I agree with Ben's idea about the market maker use to handle the swap for the others to want to intend the place the orders and stuff. But yeah, we still experiment it with the cross-chain stuff.
Awesome.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for presenting. And it's great to be able to already show an example of somebody building starting to build a cross-chain order book. If you want to learn more about this, check out the blog post that we wrote. And if you're interested in anyone listening, if you're interested in building, anything like a cross-chain order book, get in touch. This is something that we see as the future of the space. There's no reason to have trading in these different isolated places. There should just have one unified order book, and that's something that's uniquely enabled by our vision of fast cross-chain communication. This is why low latency matters so much. This is why base layers for chains need to have really fast confirmations. So thank you, and we can move on to the next part of the community call.
Mariana.
Hey everyone, good morning, afternoon, night, depending which time zone we are all joining from. I think I'm more aware of this as I'm traveling now and just facing different time zones. Wait, do we have a next slide? If not, I can also speak on top of this slide. Perfect, thank you. So as everyone knows, and if you were in the last community call, we shared the first results we were having from Brewing the Future. That was our first campaign initiative for bringing this community of Espresso, reintroducing Espresso, the ecosystem, the partners, our creators, the hackathon projects. So we had this 6 long way campaign explaining why composability matters, and all this journey that we are facing here as a community, as partners, as ecosystem. And we just wrapped it up a few minutes ago. Actually, was the last possible time to complete all the quests. And with this, we have the final results from the layer 3. So first and foremost, I would like to thank everyone that's here that contributed to the Brewing the Future, that provided feedbacks, that engaged to discover partners. So from Arbitrum, Rari, Caldera, Logx, ApeChain, Molten, and highlighting Hyperlane as one of the biggest integrations we had for Building Brewer Hackathon. So everyone that participated on this, that understood how they are integrative Espresso, that interact with some of the apps built on these chains, like bridging to Rari or interacting with Logx, the trading platform, and almost moving a volume of $11 million in trading volume in Logx, but also participating in Caldera, claiming their .era username. That's almost facing and shaping how Caldera is positioned themselves with MetaLayer. Also with ApeChain, we had 100K claim of the Alpine for Formula 1 posters. In total, we have a range from 170 to 330,000 participants in all the partners. In total participants in the whole Layer 3 campaign, we had 551 total wallets engaging with us. And from this, I think is in total value and moving from interactions, we had $20 million in value with all this experience. But I think the most fascinating was, in the end of the day, everyone sharing and giving the feedback that was super interesting to learn more about Espresso, the ecosystem, the partners, and feeling that they are kind of being able to contribute as we go. So we would like to thank everyone that participated, our creators, our partners, and our builders as well. There is more to come, and we're going to be announcing more interactions, more campaigns soon. But this one was successfully completed, and I'm grateful to share the results here. Wait, in my part is this. We can move to the next one.
All right. Well, we are going to talk about the Caffeinated Creator Program now. And unfortunately, Grace was our Caffeinated Creator that we are going to spotlight. She seems to have got bumped or has left the studio, so she is no longer on stage. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about her. But I don't think, unless she pops in, here, then we are.
Yeah, I think it's great if you just go ahead and give an overview.
All right. So Caffeinated Creator Program, and we started this program as a way to engage our community in creating educational, artistic, accurate content about the Espresso Network. And our first cohort has taken place over the last 3 months, and we've had a lot of great content that you might have seen on the timeline, and from people kind of remixing some of the video content we have and doing short soundbite clips to art and blog posts and threads explaining on technical topic what Espresso does. And Grace, her handle is etimgrace9, has been one of the highlights. Her clips have been really great. She really dug into the archives, pulled from episodes of the Composable podcast that Ellie and Alicia, another one of our engineers, does. Jill on the Expansion podcast, which she kind of is a co-host, other talks that we've done at events, and she's done a really great job of digging through those clips, finding the sound bites and the nuggets that kind of bring some clarity to everything. And I was going to have her say a few words, but she's not here. So I'm going to just continue to move on. As I mentioned, the first season has been taking place the last 3 months, and now we're gearing up for our second cohort. We're still working out the details, but we're very excited. We are going to be, I think, making a few changes, making it a little bit both kind of easier to manage on our end, more effective and efficient for the creators, more engaging for both the creators and hopefully our larger community. We'll have details soon that will be dropping, but the mission remains the same. Engage the community, get some great content out there on the timeline about Espresso, and really helping spread the word about what we enable and the Espresso Network enables in terms of fast finality for rollups, which in turn enables better security and interoperability across the L2 landscape. So those details will be coming soon. But for now, we're going to move on to the next topic, which I am also going to be talking about. This is exciting. So obviously the Composables was a huge success, and we so thankful for everyone who took part in the mint of the Composables. And we have not really stopped since then. We have been thinking and brewing up new ideas, and we took a lot of feedback from the community about kind of their experience with the mint on Rare Chain, and some of the feedback that we got was it's still hard to bridge funds, especially when there's like a high demand event, and even test the limits of the intent-based systems when solvers run out of liquidity on a destination chain. And especially on newer chains like which Rari chain is. And so we immediately kind of went back to we went back to the drawing board to think about, okay, well, this is obviously what Espresso was developed to accomplish was to get rid of this friction. And so we're going to be kind of expanding the composables universe a little bit with a new NFT drop. And this NFT drop really is, we're doing it to both expand the universe of the composables and serve as a product demo. And what we'll be demoing is the ability to bridgelessly mint an NFT, which means I have funds on one chain integrated with the Espresso network, and I can use those funds to mint an NFT on another chain, and just seamlessly without having to bridge anything and worrying about, how much do I need to bridge over there. And then once I bridge over there, minting something, leaving dust over on that chain and all that friction that goes along with it. And this bridgeless minting demo is coming up, and we have Ellie here on stage, who is Espresso Systems head of R&D, to talk a little bit more about that. The images that you're seeing here are kind of some of the early concepts that our designer, Martin, who's also the designer who designed the composables, has been working up as we're thinking about, what this NFT collection will be. Some of the early concept was some kind of collectible espresso demi-tasse cups, and the idea being that every espresso integrated chain would potentially have their own collectible cup, and then people composables could collect them. Anyone could collect them, but people could collect these cups, and then eventually we would have some way to for composable holders also to potentially combine some of these cups with their composable. All that's still being worked out, but again, this is all about a product demo. So Ellie, do you want to talk a bit about what is actually going on and what we're actually enabling?
Yeah, of course. So maybe I'll start with kind of the status quo today. If you want to mint an NFT on Rari Chain, you need to have funds on Rari Chain. And so this means that you need to do either there's a couple of options you can do. One, you can bridge native ETH to Rari, and only the Rari canonical bridge is allowed to give you that native ETH. And so it takes a little while to get it, and it also takes a while to get that ETH off because you're going through the really slow canonical bridge. The other thing that you could do is use a liquidity provider, so like an Intense protocol, and they would front you the ETH on Rari Chain. However, when you have a lot of people who want to get ETH, they run out of money to front people, so they can't do that anymore. And then the third option is that you can use a synthetic token. So for example, you might use a wrapped ETH token, which kind of gets around the slowness of the native bridge. But then you're left with this wrapped token that isn't maybe really worth a lot. So it seems kind of counterintuitive that you could buy something without actually bridging any funds, but you can. And it's a really neat idea that we're doing. So the idea here is that all you're doing is sending a message between chains. So what you do is on the source chain, you would lock some funds up to pay for the NFT and to also pay for the cross-chain gas. This would then emit a message that says, user X has locked this amount of funds, they're good to go. Espresso confirms that message, and then a filler will submit the transaction on Rari Chain that actually mints the NFT on your behalf and transfers it into your account. So you get to pay for your NFT with native ETH on whichever source chain you want, which is great. You don't end up with any dust on Rari Chain if you don't want it. You don't need native gas tokens on Rari Chain or any other chain because you can pay for gas on the source chain. And you don't have to deal with any of the restrictions of like a liquidity provider running out of liquidity, or maybe the restrictions of a synthetic token. So it's a really, really good experience. And yeah, so this is the entire idea behind bridgeless minting. You pay on the source chain with native ETH, and then you get the NFT magically on Rari chain, and everything is taken care of behind the scenes. And this is all underpinned by Espresso confirmations. So the reason that we can do this is because you really need to make sure before you mint the NFT that the user actually paid for it first, because otherwise you would give them a free NFT. And the way we do that is through Espresso confirmation. So because you have such, Espresso gives really strong, secure confirmations. If you see on the source chain that a user has locked up funds, you're very sure that that is the truth. And so you feel safe minting the NFT for them. So anyway, that's a quick summary of bridgeless minting and what's going to happen behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm excited, especially as an NFT fan. This idea of being able to do that is awesome. And Rarible has been again, and Rari Chain, but Rarible, the platform that's handling the minting, has been a great partner, and we're definitely in close contact with them and brewing up some cool ideas and activations that will even make this even a cooler experience for people. So stay tuned for that. We do have Grace back in the house, so we're going to return to that topic for a bit, just to hear from Grace. So, as I had mentioned, Grace is one of the Caffeinated creators that was part of the first cohort and has been doing a great job digging into the archives and specifically remixing and clipping videos from archives into some great sound bites and clips on that help explain Espresso. So Grace, how are you? Can you just give us a few comments about what your background is and how you discovered Espresso and your experience with the Caffeinated Creator Program?
Okay, hi everyone. So my name is Grace, and I discovered Espresso from X. I was scrolling through because usually if you check my page, I talk about a lot of projects. So I just go out there, search projects that are actually building something really nice and that people don't really understand. And then I try to break it down so people get to know, oh, these are the solutions they're providing and it would really be helpful for them. Because I feel like why a lot of people don't consume crypto content is because they really don't understand the value that they provide. So I try my best to make people break it into tiny bits so they can really understand the kind of value that these projects are bringing. So that was why I was really interested in Espresso. And why I was really excited about being a caffeinated creator is because, okay, I initially did not apply to be a remixer, but that's the role I got. And I still did it with happiness because it taught me a lot. Being a creator has made me learn so many applications that I didn't even know I had the ability to learn. So I put out this content. And also in this era or where we are now, people like scrolling through screens very fast. They don't stay throughout the long videos. So I like the fact that I could bring out those very important details from long videos and make it something fun for people to watch and in a scroll in just 30 minutes. And it's actually been a very fun experience for me.
Excellent. So are you an Espresso expert now? Teach me a few things.
Yeah, I can call myself that.
Awesome. And we are going to be releasing details about cohort like number 2 and bringing more creators into the mix. And so now you're going to be a veteran, and hopefully you can be maybe a bit of a mentor to some of the other creators that we bring into the mix, and help share some of what you've learned about both the tools, but also about kind of Espresso. And we really appreciate all the work you've done. The clips have been great. Really capturing kind of the essence and as you said, breaking down some of these complex topics into kind of bite-sized, chunks that people can listen to quickly and understand and hopefully glean some important information.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that. Cool. Well, thank you so much. And again, cohort 2 will be releasing some details about that, and there are going to be some changes, but we're excited to share those and engage more members of the community in the program and just the Espresso community in general. So the final thing on our item on our agenda is EthCC Espresso.
EthCC.
And Sean, I will not be there, sadly. So
No, what will we do without you, Whit?
Shawnee will
How
be.
do we?
Yeah.
How can we live? I'm so back with camera this time. See,
right.
I'm real.
He's real, not a bot.
Yay! Yeah, for those who are going to Cannes, we will be there, and come find us. We'll have 3 events, as you can see here, one on the 29th of June, one on the 1st of July, and on the 3rd of July. For those who want to just chill, network, and just get to know the awesome people at Espresso, you can come join us on the beach for mocktails and aperitifs. For the active ones, I will brave this run as well. A 5K run in the morning is not my first thing I'd like to do, especially when the heat is high, but I'm going to brave it. For those who want to stretch their legs, please come join us for the 5K run. And for those who want to try something new, there's a pétanque event. I've never played it. So I'm actually very curious how this is going to go. So that's kind of a wrap up of what we'll be doing in Cannes.
Yeah, I'm sad to miss that. And it's the Ethereum United. So I guess we've kind of created this tradition of having like sport tourneys. In Bangkok, we had the Ethereum United paddle tournament. So this will be a little Ethereum United, little pétanque tourney, which should be fun. For people who don't know what pétanque is, it's or at least people in the US, it's kind of like bocce. One of these long games, you throw a little ball out there and then try to, toss the other bowls, I think they call them, and then try to get it close. And there's one other event that is not on there, but we also have, these are all the fun, cool networking events, but we also have a Interop Roundtable event that we're hosting with Open Zeppelin and Arbitrum team, and that's on June 30th at 11:30 local time. So, a little real technical kind of, stuff, content as well while we're at EthCC. So that's the Interop Roundtable. But we'll have it, Shawnee there, Ben, who you heard from earlier, who's our CEO, and who else is going to be
Avery,
there?
of course.
Avery's already there. She already posted a picture from the beach.
She's working.
Yeah. So anyway, that's coming up. And let's see, I think that's it. Closing thoughts. We are all heads down, and we're growing our team, as evidenced by Shawnee here, and we are looking to continue building an Espresso network, building this kind of custom purpose-built, infrastructure for roll-ups, and it's the type of infrastructure they've kind of always needed but never had. Given that they were roll-ups, and these L2s have popped up from the need for Ethereum to scale, but and they've done so in such a way that mute you. Anyway, but rollups, obviously we're not built to work together seamlessly, and Ethereum wasn't really built to support L2s working together seamlessly, and that's what Espresso is all about. And we're really excited about what we have on the roadmap coming up with permissionless proofs of stake, with the OP integrations coming up. Celo is going to be the first OP chain integrating with the Espresso network. I didn't mention it earlier, but with this kind of Bridgeless minting demo and this new NFT collectible, we're hoping Ape Chain is another orbit chain in our pipeline, and hoping to work with them to potentially get this cross-chain mint between Rari and Ape Chain. That's real all tentative right now, But we're just, we have a lot of stuff, a lot of irons in the fire, brewing a lot of cool stuff. So I hope you stick around and keep tabs on what we got going on in our Discord and follow our X account. And yeah, we'll see you. I won't, but Shawnee will see you in Cannes. All right. Bye.
Bye.